Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to produce content when we say we actually will do it.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Something you get on the internet when somebody says they're going to do it on time. Daily, it's right there in the name. Barring sickness or just being lazy. But yeah, this is all, of course, in context to Star Citizen. We're riffing, we're elbowing, we're throwing a couple jabs. It's all in good fun.
A new article on space.com, of all places, tracks through the embarrassing legacy of Star Citizen's development. Nobody's embarrassed because they're making a shitload of money. The article offers some due kindness and appreciating what Star Citizen is trying to be. Keyword trying.
Yeah, we do the same thing, I like to think. We appreciate the gumption, the ambition. Yeah, unfortunately, history is unkind because the article basically goes through a great, beat for beat, year by year release of this approaching $1 billion game. And it's not a great legacy, especially when you consider all that money and where it may have gone.
Before we get into the entire story, this episode is actually sponsored by our friends at Sega. Lawrence, who are we sponsored by?
The fastest boy of them all! Sonic is here! Yeah!
We here at Inside Games are very excited about this one. Thank you to Sega for sponsoring this video. And of course, Sonic X Shadow Generations, now available on Nintendo Switch 2. Shadow the Hedgehog is back with classic and modern Sonic in Sonic X Shadow Generations, an all-new collection featuring 2 unique experiences enhanced and optimized for the Nintendo Switch 2. As I said before, this game features 2 unique experiences. You can play as Shadow in a brand new story campaign featuring never-before-seen abilities that prove why Shadow is known as the ultimate life form. Speed through iconic stages from Shadow's history, discover hidden secrets in an expansive hub world, and unlock new powers to take on Black Doom and save the world. Sonic X Shadow Generations also includes a complete remaster of Sonic Generations, a time-traveling adventure featuring a greatest hits collection of 3D and 2D Sonic stages, now with upgraded visuals and new bonus content. Sonic X Shadow Generations takes advantage of the Switch 2's new hardware, bringing optimizations and enhancements to its resolution and graphics. Sonic X Shadow Generations is available on consoles and PC, and now including the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you want to support Inside Games and you want to support Sonic and Shadow and Sonic X Shadow Generations, buy the game now using our link below, right below this video, in the YouTube description. Click the link, because why wouldn't you want to support Sonic and Shadow? They're the best.
Thank you, Sonic, for everything. For the love, for the years of companionship, for the lifelong inspiration. We appreciate it. Now back to something that's a little less inspiring. Star Citizen, yeah. This game kicked off in 2012. God, remember 2012? It was another world back then. With a humble Kickstarter raising only $2.1 million, an auspicious start. That was a lot of money back then.
It was. At the time, Cloud Imperium Games, CIG, stated that they intended to release a feature-complete version of Star Citizen in November 2014, 2 years after the Kickstarter started.
And we've been playing it ever since and loving it. Ooh, no, didn't quite go that way, did it? Yeah. They did release the Arena Commander module in 2014, which allowed players to actually pilot their ships, fly them around. You know, it's not a full game, but you can fly.
So, already 2 years in, all you can do is fly around. We're getting there. Remember, they said feature complete, but now we can just fly around. There were a handful of modes: races, combat versus other players or AI. I mean, you know, it's a video game. So they had the little modes.
The checkpoints you fly through. Yay, it's like Superman 64. CIG released the first swipe at their persistent universe in 2015, combining previous modules. That was kind of their release method. Combine their modules and a partially modeled megacity.
This is the start of the game as it is today. This is actually what we play, and Lawrence and I have been playing for years. It's gradually grown into features that include like in-ship and on-foot gameplay. It literally is an MMO, and really we're gonna shit on this game a lot in this report. But truly, I do like playing it when it works.
Yeah, when it works is the key thing there. That same year, back in 2015, CIG announced they were partnering with Ilphonic to develop a first-person shooter called Star Marine.
Huh, I didn't know that. However, CIG eventually canceled the contract with Ilphonic due to development issues and moved the project in-house, where it wouldn't release until December 2016.
Yeah, and even then it launched without a ton of the promised features. Yeah, I remember when they first announced it, I thought they were making like a first-person shooter campaign, and I think that might have been the intent. But by the time it launched, it was pretty much just, you can shoot guns.
Okay. Star Citizen gained character customization, mining, and the first fully modeled planet and city in 2017.
Yeah, ticking it off like this, it doesn't sound so bad, but these are entire years, going by here. So this is all not even acknowledging what is supposed to be the tip of the spear, Squadron 42.
Oh my gosh, this is just a hilarious. This Squadron 42 is hilarious to me. This whole thing is great. It was originally intended to be a tutorial that would run players through the game's systems, but in grand feature bloat style that CIG is so good at, it's since grown to become a full-blown single-player game set in the Star Citizen universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a star-studded cast too, which at this point, who knows if we'll ever actually see. They lined up some good actors though, with their millions of dollars. Mark Hamill, Gary Oldman, Gillian Anderson, Henry Cavill, and others.
Wow!
But at this point, they released some character models, and they looked really good back when they first had them. Now they don't look so good anymore. I mean, they still look good. Don't get me wrong. You can tell it's Mark Hamill. You can tell it's Henry Cavill. You can tell it's Gillian Anderson, but
yeah.
Capture tech has gotten so much better in the last 10 years that I worry when this game comes out that it'll look kind of dated, which sucks for actors of that caliber.
Oh, absolutely. CIG originally intended to release Squadron 42 in 2014 before it was delayed. Yeah, that was 2 years after the Kickstarter. And then it was delayed to 2016. And then, the rest of the story, because it's not out yet. So it's been delayed again to indefinite. I think the last time they said was 2026. I think that it's coming out. So who knows when? That's
the earliest to expect it. That's not when it's coming out. They basically just said not 2025. Yeah. Yeah. CIG launched a brand new YouTube series in 2020 called The Briefing Room, which was meant to cover the features and development of Squadron 42. Hooray. How did that go, Bruce?
It lasted one episode before being canceled.
Oh. Yeah, I guess maybe they didn't want to spend their time making videos about the game and maybe just make the game. Yeah, at this point, it seems like Squadron 42, kind of like the rest of Star Citizen, really doesn't have any release date anymore.
Nope. CIG announced that Star Citizen was feature complete. That's a joke. At CitizenCon 2023. They announced it in 2023, which is insanity. They're still adding features even now. And this led a lot of people to... This led a lot of foolish, idealistic children to believe the game might actually launch sometime after the feature complete announcement in 2023.
Yeah, but like we said, all we've heard is that the game won't launch until at least 2026. But that doesn't mean that it will launch in 2026, only that we don't need to block out any time or call in any sick days in 2025.
Right. So, Robert Space Industries and CIG, the studio's futures there, don't seem the brightest. An expose on Insider Gaming in October 2024 described a tumultuous company with crunched employees, hushed layoffs, freezes on wage increases, and they did just do layoffs. So it isn't looking necessarily good for them right now.
Yeah, I would hope. All that work must have gone somewhere. It'd be nice to imagine you can staple it all together in a video game. But what about for our star children, the Star Citizens out there? They're still devoted to the game. I mean, the sun keeps rising and setting for them. It's just another day a lot. I don't know. It seems I love this stuff. I love checking in with the Star Citizen community every so often because honestly, most of them have a good humor about it. Like they've accepted that despite all the promises that they are kind of on board with this just spiraling ongoing thing. Yeah, almost a weird Stockholm syndrome kind of sets in, but most of them are pretty good natured about it.
Seems the big drama this week is that players are blocking important hallways with shipping containers. So I was reading about this, and what they do is they fly a ship into the space station, glitch it through the wall, and then unload shipping containers from their ship in front of hallways.
That's how you do that. Okay.
So it's like people actively fucking with other people in Star Citizen, which sucks because once that is done, there's nothing you can do. Like that, you're just like fucked. Like you're like, I guess I can't go down that hallway now. Yeah, like that's it. So I don't know. I mean, like apart from CIG and RSI getting in there and changing things, I don't know what you do as a player.
And I feel like things like this have happened over the course of the entire game, you know. And to a degree, it's kind of charming unless you actually want to play a video game and have fun. the goal of Star Citizen isn't necessarily to create a game, right? It's to create a simulation inside of which games can happen. But they're trying to simulate a whole universe, really. So in any given MMO, gosh, I remember a million years ago in Conan. It's not Conan Exiles. I can't. There was a Conan MMO 1 million years ago.
Conan Exiles, yeah,
where there was a path that was just wide enough for pretty much one horse. So people would just sit there with their horse turned to the side. And if you tried to sneak around the back, you could like horse kick people. So you just sit there and wait for somebody to try to walk around behind you, and you'd horse kick them off a cliff. And then there'd be a line of people just sitting there staring at the horse, trying to figure out how to get by. It's not the game, but it's also kind of the game. I don't know. That shit's fun as hell. Only when I'm not involved in it or affected by it, really.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, watching it is hilarious. Being part of it sucks. Speaking of, meanwhile, other players are quitting the game because predatory PvP players are running rampant, terrorizing the system's humble miners and traders. That's what you do in this game. You really are you just go out and mine and go through scrap and and then you take it somewhere and sell it. And that's what you do in Star Citizen, or you chase players down and shoot them and collect bounties and things like that. But if people really want to be, because this has happened to us, Lawrence and I have played this game, again, we've been playing it for years, and we've had a few people kind of jump into our system and then just shoot us, just blow up our ships, because you can. Generally speaking, it doesn't happen very often, but it has happened, and if people want to do it, they can.
Yeah, there's not a lot of recourse for the harried animals, the players who haven't invested hundreds of millions of dollars in this game and don't have the whiz-bang military ships that can just show up and eviscerate a humble mining craft. I guess all you can hope is to just be under the radar, really. Just be beyond the time and effort of a PvP player. Well, let's be honest, that's what they're out there to do, is to kill as many people as possible. So, yeah, that and the container aspect, it's one thing to get this simulation off the ground, but then kind of I think the developers of EVE Online learned very quickly is now you have to govern it. You have to actually create laws and affect the rules of the universe to keep everything in a balance. You don't want to make it so nobody can PvP ever, but you also don't want that to be the reason that people walk away from the game. So, yeah, they have to finish it first, though, before they get into space governance. I don't know if they're going to end up doing that, but the thing is, though, Bruce, and I feel like I always come back to this, I think we do, but the ambition of this game is so remarkable that it can create moments that just don't exist anywhere else. And those can be magical, like flying down to a planet or getting in orbit for the first time, or jumping out of a ship and then just falling in real time down to the planet and cratering on the surface. That's pretty amazing stuff. But then also, you call an elevator and you step through and just fall into space and die because it didn't load the elevator car. One of my favorite comedy moments in Star Citizen. But it doesn't really happen in any other games. Old school Bethesda jank is pretty much the closest you get.
Yeah, the problem, there's so many problems with Star Citizen. The problem with Star Citizen, I think mainly, is this is the very definition of sunk cost fallacy. I've heard so many people talk about how much money they've spent on ships over the course of 10 years or whatever it's been. And, they spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on ships. And those people, we will see them in our comments in this video. We will see them be like, no, they've done this and they've done this. It's all the same. It's always the same refrain. It's always like, they're making it better. They're making it better. The video game is so broken, and it's been so broken for so long that it almost is unplayable if CIG is having a bad week. It really boils down to that. Sometimes when you get in and then CIG is having a good week, you could just run around and fly your ship and do your mining and all that stuff and really have a good time. But then if you've decided to jump in on the time they patched persistent trash everywhere, you're fucked. That's it. All the servers are down. Nothing works. It's crazy. And imagine having spent $2,500 on that over the course of 10 years. And then you get in, you're like, I can't wait to get in and do my mining. And then there's bottles everywhere and the servers are crashing and you can't log in. That sucks. I just don't like Lawrence said, I've had so much fun playing this game, but I go in knowing that it's going to be broken. I don't go in being like, I can't wait to accomplish some video game tasks. I never think that. I'm always like, I'll attempt to buy some armor. It won't work. I'll attempt to fly to a ship and shoot some people. They'll be glitched. or lagged. Like, it's like, I know that that's what this is. It's going to be funny. It's not going to be a video game. But I think they are getting there. I won't say that CIG and RSI are going to release anything anytime soon, because we keep encouraging them with money. They make $100 million a year on development. Like, this isn't like $100 million on, like, you know, subscription fees or whatever. It's just people just chipping in, being like, hey, we'll buy some chips, or, you know, like, keep making your game. And they're encouraged by that, and that's bad, in my opinion. And so they're never going to stop that until the money dries up. Like, I think then they'll release a video game, but for now, it's just going to keep going.
And I think if the money dries up, they'll be done. I don't know that they have, like, I'm not so sure that they have an emergency runway and like a crisis plan to ship a 1.0 if proceeds ever drop off. I'm not saying that we all need to throw a lot of money at them to get Squadron 42 out the door, which I am legitimately excited for in my own way. You know, I played Wing Commander to death back in the day. I'm a big fan of, like, single-player space flight games that have narratives and stuff like that. There aren't many of them. Like Star Wars Squadrons is kind of the only one. Actually, I take that back. In the indie scene, there's a few more. There's like Everspace and things like that. But yeah, I would like to see. I'd like to see the glorious return of Chris Roberts to that scene. Maybe I'll live to see it. I'll say this: for the like $40 starter pack that I bought 8 years ago, that still allows me to kind of log in and check the game out. It's been worth it. But I'm also the kind of dork that likes tech demos, and I think this is the most expensive tech demo you'll ever find. So I kind of like it from that degree of, like, it'll push a PC to its maximum still. Flying in and out of a planet's atmosphere is still a really cool experience. So to me, it's worth it for that, being a space dork growing up on Star Trek, like I'm sure a lot of the people that have thrown a lot of money at Star Citizen have done. So it's not completely worthless, and it's not like that money has gone nowhere. But yeah, it's the overpromising, the underdelivering, the what we perceive to be just kind of ineptitude of games production that is rough. And to some degree, it's like how cool the game sounds makes it sting a little more that it keeps getting pushed further and further away.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to put it. I do want to say too, I spent over $42 on it 3-4 years ago, and it's absolutely worth my time. Like, I played so many hours of it and played so many hours of, try to glitch my way through it. But again, it's I like the jank. The people that because I've seen people talk about Bethesda games and things that they don't like the jank. You are not gonna like this. This is all it is jank. Like, there isn't ever a time other than maybe flying from space to landing in a city. That usually works most of the time. But all the other stuff, when you're on foot and shit, no way. Like, it's just like, it's pretty much always broken when you're on foot. So I encourage you, if you're watching this and you're being like, it can't be that bad, Bruce and Lawrence, you should watch our streams. You really should watch our streams, because we have hours and hours and hours of the evidence of it, of us enjoying this game, but also knowing that this is like, it's like the closest thing to a scam that you can get. It's not a scam, but it's so close. And I often say this about Donald Trump. Like, everyone's always like, I don't understand. Donald Trump seems crazy. Like, he's always making these crazy decisions or whatever. If you don't like Trump, doesn't matter. It's not political. This is more of just like the man himself. But he keeps succeeding. He keeps getting voted in as president. He's making, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. And to him, that is success. So with this, it's the same thing. With Star Citizen, it's like super broken. It's always glitched. It's like never works. But they keep giving them money. So it's going to keep doing the same thing. They're never going to change their pattern unless what they see as success changes or they don't make any more money.
That's a very fair point. It's a very fair point. I would be more worried if there were many Star Citizens all running at once, but there's just the one. And in a weird way, as long as everybody knows what they're getting into, I don't really have a problem with the development as it's gone, provided, again, that everybody knows what they're getting into. So if people are just that infatuated with the space dream and they see this as their only shot, then I'm glad it exists, and it exists in the form that it is. It'd be nice to imagine that a game like this could be made, maybe in 5 years instead of 10. But, we can wish for anything.
Well, we'd like to thank a few brave folks for going where only a few have gone before, our Patreon page.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Brown Sugar and Nick Calderon, thank you for supporting a production studio that actually makes something. We really do make something. We release it, and it is feature complete.